Do you know how long it takes to become an astronaut? About 10 years on average. College, grad school, time in the workforce, all preparing for the day you get picked above the rest. Then it's months in simulators, away from the world, learning skills and unlearning senses. Your body pushed to the brink of endurance. They don't tell you that part. And boys across America don't dream of running on a treadmill covered in wires or gnawing on dehydrated beef in a titanium chamber. They dream of soaring past that curtain of sky, seeing what's behind. They dream of carrying a nation's ambition as they brush the stars and close the gap on the unknown. We're a species of explorers, always searching for more, searching for new. That's why you do it. But sometimes, once you're beyond, there's no going back. They don't tell you that part. And my crew dropped back to Earth on July 8th, 1965. Now, home soil was strangely foreign. Everything felt heavy. You know, the air, my body, a sound thumped around my skull like a bowling ball. The president greeted us at the White House, all glistening eyes and toothy smile. It seemed the whole scene played out behind frosted glass. I stared at that famous face. I saw him shake my hand. But I'll be damned if I felt a thing. We were trotted out like prize pigs across the country, drowning in a mess of red, white, and blue. They dropped confetti in all 50 states. In Texas, some kid asked me to sign his Stetson. So I scrawled my name for the 1,000th time, and I returned the hat to his head. His big blue eyes looked at me. I used to look at the moon and stars that way. No matter how much the world turned, they always came back. Just sitting there, burning up the night. But that kid and his big, dumb eyes all over a hat. Have you heard about the man in the moon? Legend has it he was exiled for an act of sacrilege. On the outside, peering in forever. That story used to make me sad. That was before I saw the earth from up there. If you're going to look at something for eternity, that'd be it. All green and blue and pure. It's not until you get inside, you see it's rotten, like a shiny apple riddled with worms. I've traveled through time. I've seen the future, what we're truly capable of. Yet, we're still squabbling about who sits where on a bus? We're still using wars instead of words? We're still fulfilled by 76 trombones? My first night at home, I rose from my usual ritual of milk and toast to find some whiz-bang thing that cooked 4 slices of bread at once. 4 slices at once. Isn't it great? My wife said. Now we don't have to take turns. Technology, ladies and gentlemen, it's a whole new world. You know, well wishes flock to my homecoming barbecue like cows dotted across my yard. I bet you're loving the sunshine, they said. Must have a whole new perspective. You know, I always wanted to be an astronaut. Yeah, I got a telescope in my back shed, real top of the line. Hey, tell me something. What was it like? I bet you're glad to be home. You know, when you enjoy the sun, it's not because of the warmth on your face or the glow of the grass. It's all that vitamin D soaking into your brain. It's chemistry. It's science. I can't help but wonder if the same happens in space. Did my brain absorb the dark? Now, if I dare go outside at night, I do so with my eyes slammed shut, gripping the ground till it crumbles in my hands. You see, if I look up at that blackness, I know I'll float away. Because we're all just matter. And we don't matter at all. Now that I've seen through that moon man's eyes, there's no going back. On the outside, peering in, forever. They don't tell you that part. Thank you. Okay, here we are. My name is Sean Paisley Collins. I played the man, the astronaut, the man in the piece. And this is Louise Baxter, a very dear friend of mine and brilliant writer who wrote the piece. Yeah, I don't know. Where do we start? How did you first? How did you?
Well, this was first performed. I first wrote it, and in 2016 for the Melbourne Writers Theatre Melbourne Monologues submissions, which was a blind read, and it was one of 6 chosen. And I was very fortunate for Sean to be cast in the role, and I think he was perfect for it then. But in the 4 years that have passed, he's really matured and delivered such a great performance just now. And yeah, we've become friends since then and are working on a few other creative things together. So it was the beginning of something really good.
Yeah, I just want to say quickly, like it's amazing to get to do it again. I think I said at the time when I first did it, it's one of the sort of best pieces of writing I've ever got to perform, certainly of anyone that I know and have met. And it's just like, it's so short, but it just packs such a punch. Like there's so much in it and it's so poetic, and yeah, I just love it.
Thank you.
And 60s, I'm so like, it's my favorite time period, and American's always fun. So yeah, that's really cool.
Thank you so much for being here today as a part of Ghost. That
Pleasure.
Phenomenal and amazing writing.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about where the idea for this piece in particular came from?
I first had the idea of the astronaut returning from space. It sort of seemed to me quite in my 20s, I was went through that kind of lost period. I think a lot of people do, especially if you're maybe a bit of a deep thinker and you kind of have the existential crisis and where do I belong and why am I here and all that sort of thing. And I think the astronaut returning from space and seeing it all externally and then coming back felt to me like a great framework to explore that kind of theme, which I think, we're not all familiar with the experience of space, but I think we're familiar with that feeling of not quite belonging or not sure if we're like everyone else, and that sort of that experience. So the idea came to me in 2012, I think it was. I was in Canada and Neil Armstrong passed away. And I remember writing just some little notes about it in a journal that I had. And then when I came to Melbourne, because I did move to Melbourne from Perth in 2016, and I remember sitting at a cafe going through this old notebook because I was racking my brain for ideas for this monologue. And I'm the same as Sean, love anything vintage. 1960s or sort of mid-century Americana has always sort of really appealed to me. And yeah, just straight away I had inspiration. So it all just went from there.